Are you fascinated by strange architecture and bizarre edifices? If you are, you won't want to miss this video. In fact, if you're interested in all things weird and unusual, you should definitely stick around. Get your mind ready as we take a look at the weirdest buildings you've never seen before. The Kunsthaus Graz, Grosser Kunsthaus, or Graz Art Museum was constructed as part of the European Capital of Culture celebrations in 2003 and has since become an architectural landmark in Graz, Austria. Its unusual design is a stark contrast to the surrounding buildings of the old town center, which is why the curious structure also attracts a fair amount of criticism. Its exhibition program specializes in contemporary art spanning across the last 4 decades. The gigantic building is affectionately called the Friendly Alien by its creators Peter Cook and Colin Fournier. However, the team of architects used an innovative stylistic idiom known as blob architecture. This has also earned it the nickname Blue Blob. According to architect Peter Cook, the fact that the blob of Graz has caused a divide in opinion is intentional. It was built to make a statement and get people talking, which is exactly what it's doing. Now you might think we edited this photo or added some kind of filter, but this is actually how it was built. The Crooked House is part of the resident shopping center located in the city of Sopot, Poland. It was designed by architects Sotinsky and Zaleski in 2004 and has since become a popular landmark for tourists and photographers. This oddly shaped building was inspired by the Polish fairy tale drawings done by illustrators Jan Marcin Sanser and Per Dahlberg. Tourists are often hesitant to enter the building because of its warped appearance. However, the uniqueness and their curiosity draws them in anyway, even if there's a risk of them experiencing vertigo. The Crooked House is home to many popular shops, restaurants, and even a radio station. This unusual building is one of the most photographed sites in Poland, which isn't surprising considering that it is a real-life illusion. Here's a pro tip. You might not want to visit this building if you're under the influence of some kind of substance. If you're anything like me, you love a good animal-shaped building. The sheep and dog buildings in the community of Tirau, New Zealand, have definitely cemented their place in the Unusual Architecture Hall of Fame. The bizarre buildings serve as visitor and information centers and are also intended to entice travelers passing through to make a stopover. The Big Dog houses the Eyesight Visitor Center, which is also known as the Big Dog Information Center. Meanwhile, the Big Sheep hosts a wool and craft shop in its stomach. Both were constructed in the 1990s. The sheep came first, and when it came time for the visitor center to be constructed, it was designed to match, so they decided to go with another animal. Local artisan Stephen Clothier created the animal heads. After the formation of the sheep and dog buildings, another building in the shape of a ram was added in 2016. You'll find buildings in corrugated iron all over New Zealand, as well as many other big things. In addition to the dog, sheep, and ram, there's also a cow with a shopping cart, a shepherd outside a church, and a praying mantis. If you're fascinated by structures shaped like animals, you might want to pay a visit to Tirau, New Zealand. If you're a dog lover and you enjoy staying in unique hotels, this place will be right up your alley. The Dog Bark Park Inn is a dog-shaped hotel located in Cottonwood, Idaho. More specifically, it is designed to look like a beagle, and it is sometimes referred to as the Beagle Hotel. The two-bedroom bed and breakfast boasts a number of dog-themed design choices, from the architecture itself to the interior decor. Guests are very welcome to sleep inside this beagle. The Dog Bark Park Inn is available to visitors from April to October and offers guests a fridge, microwave, free internet, and a bathtub. The cost per night is actually pretty reasonable, with a one-night stay for 2 people costing $132. The creative minds behind the building's quirky design are husband and wife duo Dennis Sullivan and Francis Conklin. They are wood carving artists who first began experimenting with wood art nearly 20 years ago. According to Dennis and Francis, their big break came in 1995 when their carvings were sold on QVC television. They did nothing but carve wooden dogs for 18 months straight. This generated tons of sales, and they were able to invest whatever money they made into developing and building the Dog Bark Park Inn. To this day, the couple continues to not only rent out their huge dog-themed bed and breakfast, but also carve folk art-style wooden replicas of dogs. In fact, they have already created over 60 different breeds of canines. And just in case you were wondering, the Beagle Hotel guarantees a memorable stay for both human and canine guests. Even though it would be pretty funny if dogs weren't allowed, right? We can't talk about unusual buildings without mentioning the Big Basket Building in Newark, Ohio. It was initially built in 1997 as the headquarters of the Longaberger Company, an American manufacturer of handcrafted maple wood baskets and lifestyle products. It is one of the most famous examples of novelty architecture, in which buildings are designed to mimic or represent objects associated with their function. So basically, they designed the building to look like a basket because they made and sold baskets. Although the years progressed, the business sadly didn't. In February 2016, after a period of falling profits and staff reductions, Longaberger's parent company, JR Networks, announced that the remaining employees would be moved out from the Newark headquarters. The Longaberger Basket Company would officially close in 2016. One of the common problems with novelty architecture is its resale value, and the future of the Big Basket building has been uncertain. However, there does appear to be popular support in Newark for preserving it as a local landmark, with ideas for future uses including converting it into a hotel, a multifamily residence, senior housing, or even an academic building. Well, someone decided to take the Newark residents up on this offer and gave the building a new lease of life. On October 20th, 2020, the 7-story basket-shaped building reopened its doors and offered its first public tour since closing in 2016. More than 600 people showed up for the occasion. They came from small towns across Ohio, such as Ironton and Washington Courthouse, some driving up to 4 hours just to make it in time. They lined up at 11 a.m. for tours that started at 1 p.m. Executive Director of Heritage Ohio, Joyce Barrett, helped organize the tour. According to Joyce, people were in tears and hugging each other. They were so happy to be back in the basket. Have you ever had the urge to be a daredevil and drive straight through a building? Well, if you go to Japan, you can. But not in the way you think. Let me explain. In Osaka, Japan, a section of the city highway runs between the 5th, 6th, and 7th floors of the Gate Tower building. The Hanshin Expressway is a 149-mile network of expressways running around the Japanese cities of Osaka, Kobe, and Kyoto. Back in the early 1980s, Plans were underway to redevelop a deteriorating area of Fukushima-ku in the city of Osaka. The project had been approved and local property owners were eagerly waiting for their building permits. But suddenly, a massive obstacle emerged. A major extension of the Hanshin Expressway had also already been given the go-ahead, and its planned route took it right through the redevelopment area in Fukushima-ku. Local property owners wouldn't budge, which created a 5-year period of negotiation between them and the city officials. This eventually resulted in a change in city and highway planning laws to accommodate the unified development of highways and buildings in the same space. However, these new plans required some innovative thinking, especially when it came to a stretch of road that somehow needed to pass by a 16-floor office building. The solution became the construction of one of the strangest-looking sites in the world. The side of the Gate Tower building simply opens up like a mouth to release traffic coming off of the Hanshin Expressway. Amazingly, the highway hardly affects business inside the Gate Tower building, as the building has reinforced sound insulation on the walls and the floors. Visitors entering the ground floor of the building will see the elevator marked with floors numbered 1 to 4 and then 8 to 16. The floors in between simply say Hanshin Expressway and are inaccessible, of course. However, this unique and futuristic architecture comes at a price. The highway operator is required to pay rent for the floors occupied by the Hanshin Expressway. It is reported that their monthly rent is the equivalent of roughly $16,000. What are your thoughts on these unusual buildings? Which one would you visit? Let us know in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, that can only mean one thing. You are seriously into some weird-ish. So go ahead and press that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more weird content just like this.